You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
We are a little over a week away from the draft, and just when you thought things were kind of calm, getting ready for night one of the draft, who the Dolphins are going to take, Chris Grier does his best Jama Rant impersonation, throws a grenade into the crowd, hands over the air, press conference, absolutely crazy. To delve into all of that and more, I'm Kadeem Simmons, and as always, I am joined by Mr. Charlie Touche. Charlie, tell everyone what time it is.
Bro, how you gonna do a semi-intro, introduce yourself and me, and then I'm gonna come in here and introduce myself and you too? Like that's I don't understand that.
I've been doing that for ages.
Nah, you said I'm Kadeem Simmons. This is Charlie Touche. Like I don't remember you. I don't remember you introducing yourself before.
Not always. I'm Kadeem Simmons, and as always, I'm joined by Charlie Touche. Charlie, tell everyone what time it is.
The Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. Got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise. Hey, it's been a pretty entertaining past couple of days. I'm not gonna lie to you, Kadeem. And just to drop this out there, Touche's 24 episode is this week, this Friday. Touche's 24 comes out, and yeah, I can't. This is gonna be my best ever, the best ever. Touche's 24 is this season. It was easy money too. But Kadeem, off the top of your head, when was the last offseason the Miami Dolphins had that didn't have any turbulence? Like no turbulence whatsoever. Can you remember our offseason? And if it was 2 years ago, it could have been 2 years ago. I genuinely don't know if it was or not. But I think last year we had Tua come out with the Flores talk, right?
Sounds about right.
He actually brought up he went on the Lebertard show and spoke about what happened with Flores, and it was like, oh, this is a thing now. You know what I'm saying? Then we got this year, the mass exodus movement of job people. One of my favorite songs by Bob Marley. The year before that, I feel like it was concussion, something to do with concussion Tua, potentially. What was the year before that? It's 220. It's 25 now. It was 24 last year. What was 23 off season? What was the dang? We can't have a quiet off season. I feel like there was something in 23. I can't remember what it was.
Potentially, the last one I can think of that was turbulent 3 would have been McDaniel. The year we hired McDaniel, because that's when you got like Tyreek Hill to run Armstead. And I can't remember anything shocking happening that year. That was when everyone was super hyped. I guess the most shocking. Actually, no, because wouldn't that have been Tom
when we lost our pick?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I don't think it has been for quite a while.
And then we could go into the Flores regime, and it was unhealthy. We had some Deshaun Watson talk in the offseason. Why didn't we trade for Deshaun Watson and all the other good stuff? And you went, all right, cool. All right. Then we lost Flores. And I feel like even before that, bro, and then it kind of goes into Adam Gase with the cocaine coaches. I know Miami got the cocaine Cowboys, but we got the cocaine coaches. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure. Out of the past, I don't know, 3 coaches, maybe I'll just put a number on it and say 8 seasons. I don't know how many quiet off seasons the Miami Dolphins have had without a scandal or some type of turbulence.
Some will say it's probably what's the best way to put it? What's the best way to put it? It's probably the overhanging theme of the Chris Grier tenure as GM, non-stop turbulence. Um, which if you're listening over on YouTube, shout out to Manolo Rivera, long time. How are you? Shout out to Jason Keck. Hope you are well as well. If you are listening over on X, aka Twitter, welcome back. We've been away for a while, but we are back now. Leave a comment, drop a like, share the video on whatever platform you are on. It is always greatly appreciated as we near 5,000 subs. But yeah, I feel like definitely, as far as I can remember, my entire Miami Dolphins fandom has basically been the Chris Grier era. And yeah, there's been non-stop, you know, issues, drama. Yeah, it is constant.
So Chris Grier came out, had a press conference. We kind of talked about the, Jaylen Ramsey, and it's crazy because this is kind of what the conference was about. The press conference was about. Jaylen Ramsey and the Miami Dolphins have mutually decided to part ways, and I'm not sure, Kadeem, how this is Chris Grier's words. Ramsey did not request a trade. He's happy here, but the Miami Dolphins and Jaylen Ramsey have mutually decided it's best if we move on from each other. And then there was more stuff too. Oh, he's happy. He doesn't want to trade, but yet get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how that works, but that's where we are with just one. And there was a lot of stuff from the Chris Grier, a lot of stuff that came out that I'm like, it was kind of eye-raising for me when I heard it, when I heard his words, his mouth saying it actually. But what did you make of it, Kadeem?
Yeah, a lot to unpack. Recently I've been, I guess, in my salty era, and calling out people on social media for saying stuff I disagree with. And it happened again yesterday. I responded to a tweet, but it's in relation to Chris Grier. So shout out the King of Finland. On the comment about Chris Grier and Mike McDaniel probably wanting to win more to get fans off their back. King of Finland said, "It is beyond pitiful that Chris Grier is up here complaining about the fans/media putting too much pressure on him and McDaniel to win. Get this guy out of the building, man." So I just tweeted, at this point, people are going to hate on Greer no matter what he says, and choose to see the negative point in every single word. 11,000 views later, multiple conversations. I kind of saw that. I should have seen that coming. That's a long-winded way of me saying what Chris Grier said yesterday, take it with a pinch of salt, because unless what he says becomes actionable points, like, what are we doing here? This is a fan base which, and I said on social media, unless Chris Grier comes out and says, "I am resigning and leaving the Dolphins forever," fans aren't going to be happy. They were angry at him for not speaking at the combine, but now they're angry at him for speaking on a random Tuesday and, I guess, giving some information which he didn't have to give, but also playing things close to his chest. And in my opinion, just in certain situations, just outright lying. For example, the whole, it would take 2 firsts to get Tyreek Hill at Miami. It would take way less than 2 firsts. Let's be completely honest. And before I pass it back to you, on the Jaylen Ramsey bit, I can imagine the conversation between the two parties was, hey, this might not be a Super Bowl run window, but this isn't a tank season. We are going to get younger. We are going to spend not as much as we have in the past, but we're going to put out a competitive team. To which Jaylen Ramsey probably said, "I don't like the sound of that. I want to try and win a ring, but you guys are paying me a lot of money, so I'm happy to stay here and play for the money, but if you can get me a trade, then I'm going to go." That's it. Because, yeah, like you said, if it's not a trade request, then what is it?
Jalen Ramsey forced his way out of Jacksonville. He said he had a back injury and didn't practice until he got his way and he was traded. And then mysteriously, the back injury went away. Then he won a Super Bowl in LA with the Rams, and he forced his way out of there, said he had a lower body injury, and eventually he was healthy, got traded, and came to Miami and was eventually healthy. Now he's in Miami, and, I'm out. Get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't feel like a winning culture anymore. I want to go win championships, or I want to go compete for championships. I'm not mad at that. You know what I'm saying? And he did it behind the scenes. It wasn't loud. It wasn't in a tweet. It wasn't Tyreek Hill. It wasn't deuces. Get me out of here. I'm looking out for my family, dog. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Tyreek was on. You know what I'm saying? So this is what it looks like now. Back to Chris Grier. If we just think about, go ahead.
So very quickly, what I didn't tell you about the Jalen Ramsey thing is I know the real reason why he left. So I've had 2 Jalen Ramsey jerseys in my life. Once when he was in Jacksonville, because I was like, hey, the Jacksonville London team, blah, blah, blah. Once I was fully locked into Miami, that got sold. Charlie, when I was in Miami, I got 1 jersey and 1 jersey only. A white Jalen Ramsey jersey.
Dolphin jersey?
White Jalen Ramsey Dolphins jersey.
See?
I got it in September.
It's Kadeem's fault. Every jersey Kadeem gets, that player leaves the Miami Dolphins.
The Kadeem curse struck again, Charlie.
Here we are. Listen, so back to Chris Grier. Jalen Ramsey looks like he's on the way out. Captain, right? Leader in the locker room. Calais Campbell, captain, leader in the locker room, out of here. Teron Armstead, captain, leader in the locker room. You see where I'm going with this. Bro, someone asked, and I can't remember who it was. Shout out to our friend of the podcast, Marcel Louis Jacques. You know what I'm saying? He has some good questions for Greer. I can't remember who asked this question, but someone said, yo, who are the leaders in this locker room now? What's gonna happen? And shout out to Cat for Life. He said the media asked some pretty good questions, and that's real because sometimes we can't even hear the questions that the media asks with the Dolphins press conferences. So someone asked Greer, who are the leaders in this locker room? Who are we gonna depend on? And Chris Grier, bro, listen, Chris Grier, my dog. He couldn't get to a name, bro. He said, we got Zach Sealer. Just to name a few, Tyreek is still here, and that was the first name you went back to was Tyreek. He is who you want leading this team. So Chris Grier, my boy, you know what I'm saying? I call a spade a spade. You feel me? That's not how you get there. You know what I'm saying? So, bro, the locker room is in, I don't know if it's shambles, but we're in trouble, bro. And then back to when McDaniel came, and it was, I think the consensus was, is he going to be able to rally the troops? Like, we don't know who he is as a head coach yet. He doesn't seem like a rah-rah, put his foot down type of head coach. And what happens when adversity hits? Is he going to be able to put his foot on the neck of those in the locker room that need their neck stepped on, for lack of better words? I got there. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know that that's the case, Kadeem, because it hasn't happened yet. It's in disarray right now, and we don't have any leaders in the locker room. Like not the leaders that I would want leading my team. If I'm being honest with you, you know what I'm saying? So Chris Grier said, we still got Zach Sealer, and then couldn't name another captain after that. And he kind of got to some names maybe 30, 40 seconds later. But it wasn't like, I was not feeling his response. I want to say this. He said we got 10 picks. And now more than ever, we will be drafting players who are pro ready. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be dependent on scouts to bring players to the table that are more ready than ever. And he also said, which was striking to me, that a GM would say this in public. He said, I think one of my problems is one of my biggest problem is I defer too much. Like I defer too much. You know what I'm saying? And then, and then he kind of went on and basically said, I gave McDaniel a little bit more room to work with than usual. You know what I'm saying? And then if you take it back to Flores, to me, all I heard, Kadeem, was Igbenogany was Flores' pick. It wasn't mine. When he said that, I was like, oh yeah, we knew Noah was not your pick. I knew it. But in reality, why would the GM draft defensive players when he hired a defensive head coach? You would like to think that defensive head coach and Brian Flores at the time would pick his D lineman or pick his corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can understand why you deferred to Flores for defensive players. But at the end of the day, you're the green button pusher. And if it isn't successful, no one's going to say McDaniel didn't pick the right players or McDaniel didn't draft the right running back, although Devon Achane was Chris Grier's pick and not McDaniel's pick, right? But then you remember when Mike McDaniel fell out the chair 2 years prior when he didn't get his running back. And then a year later or 2 years later, we draft Achane, then we trade a future third to draft Jaylen Wright. So it's like, hold on, man. We got what seems to be a top 10 running back in Devon Achane, and we traded a future third for McDaniel to get a running back of his liking. I can see how Chris Grier would say, oh, I need to not defer so much. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we doing? I don't know what we're doing, but at the same time, it's still on your head, Chris Grier. You're the green button pusher. Am I wrong or am I wrong, Kadeem?
No, you are right. Shout out to every single person in the comments. We have some questions. We will get to them soon. Shout out to Jason Keck earlier. Said he's feeling good. Great to see us, guys, and hopes everything's well. Shout out to JML. He said he finally got his hat. Apologies it took so long. Patreon only. Miami Dolphins, Go Time Dolphins merch, which I'm not even wearing today. I apologize. And shout out to Liz. Liz, long time no see. Hope you are well. Hope the family as well.
What up, Liz? Long time. I hope you're good. Just like Kadeem said, Matt. It's great to see you again.
But yeah, I think Chris Grier saying he defers too much probably goes right back to, Brian Flores coming in, falling out with Minkah Fitzpatrick and letting Minkah Fitzpatrick go. It's like, yo, what are we doing here? And you see what Minkah Fitzpatrick has gone on to do in the NFL. And yes, you replace Minkah with friend of the podcast, Javon Holland. But imagine a tandem of friend of the podcast, Javon Holland and Minkah Fitzpatrick. And, you mentioned the Noah Igbenogany pick. We all know how happy Brian Flores was when we got Raekwon Davis. And I think it's happened quite a few. And it's a very difficult balance to get, if that makes sense, or strike, if that makes sense. You don't want your GM to pick guys he wants, because then the coach is going to be like, hey, what are we doing here? There should be a partnership. But I do feel like that was Chris Grier's way of saying, my picks have worked out. Coach's picks haven't worked out. I need to start picking my picks, especially when everyone, I guess, outside the building seems to believe this is Chris Grier's last season if it doesn't work out, which goes back to the whole, what I said earlier, when he says, I need to win or we need to win more to get fans off our back. I didn't see anything wrong with that, because that is 100% true. I
didn't see nothing. My bad, Kadeem. I didn't see nothing wrong with that either. And it's not like he said, I'm saying, it's not like he's like, that was the priority. I'm saying? Like, we this is why we have to win. Like, come on now.
Yeah, like, it's one of those things where to me, it was pure common sense. The only way to get fans off any coach in any building off their back is to win. If Chris Grier if I was Chris Grier, I'd be like, I've won games, I've got to the playoffs, and you guys still aren't happy. So winning means nothing to you guys. It's winning in the playoffs. And again, that's a whole other conversation. But
that's fair though. That's fair, Kadeem. Hold on, I gotta ask you something though. Since you got the floor and you brought some things up. We did one gotta go. We try to put the blame on we try to find out who was best to put the blame on. Like, is this a Tua thing? Is this a McDaniel thing? Is this a Chris Grier problem? For me, out of the three, I think Chris Grier has done his job better than everyone else. You know, Tua hasn't been available for the most part of his tenure as a Miami Dolphin. McDaniel is still coaching like he's in the second year of his season, still making mistakes like he's in the second year. And yeah, Chris Grier missed some picks, but every time we mention a Rob Hunt or Christian Wilkins or someone who got away or Andrew Van Ginkel, everybody's like, oh, we shouldn't let this player go. We shouldn't let that player go. We shouldn't let this player go. Those players were drafted by Chris Grier. You know what I'm saying? So if Chris Grier gives the coach the ingredients to cook with and the coach is messing up the recipe, that's on the coach. It's not on the GM. You know what I'm saying? So I understand they're a unit. So everybody got to get it for sure. But at the end of the day, if we had to do process of elimination, I think Chris Grier has done his job better than McDaniel has, and then what Tua has. Although I'm ready to Tua sweater right now. Tua's my guy. You feel me? But at the same time, like, we need Tua to be available. Go ahead. My bad. Oh yeah. So my question, Kadeem, I got a question for you. Is there a path to success this season? Whatever success looks like. And we'll just call success a playoff win for now. You know what I'm saying? Because I think there's only one successful team and there's 31 other losers every season. So for this conversation alone, success is defined by a playoff win. Is there a path this season for the Miami Dolphins to have success?
Before I answer that question, shout out to Miss Finns in the chat. Guys, great show. Not only here, but her as well. If you haven't already, subscribe to her. Go follow her on social media. I had the absolute privilege of meeting her in Miami after the win against Jacksonville. So yeah, great seeing you in the chat. Yeah, 100% there's a path to success. There's quite a few people making jokes saying that, you know, because expectations are so low, this will probably be the year where the Dolphins win a playoff game.
It's
because
possible,
no one
bro.
expects it.
It's possible. And I'm gonna be real with you. I asked you if there was a path because I do believe there's a path. And I think the path is obviously what Chris Grier said. You have to hit in the draft. Now, to be real with you, the New York Paper Planes have done this. And not saying they've been successful, but what I'm about to say they have done, which was they had the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year in the same draft on the same team one season later, which was Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. And then you had the Texans have Will Anderson, I think?
Will Anderson, yeah.
Will Anderson was selected third and CJ Stroud was second. Offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. Now, I think all four of them were top 10 picks. I think Sauce was like top 5. Garrett Wilson was like 10th. Will Anderson was third and CJ Stroud was second. You know what I'm saying? So all of them are top 10 picks. Dolphins don't even have a top 10 pick to have the something like that. So I understand it's difficult, but it's not impossible. You know what I'm saying? So there's a path for success. It's just going to be extremely difficult to make it happen. Now, what we have is, Kadeem, is the element of surprise. Like, you know, I like it when people sleep on us. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll make every excuse. Oh, they only won because this team doesn't have a winning record. They only won because of this. They only won because of that. The Dolphins' record is this because of that. Like, they don't give us credit. So cool. As long as we're successful, it doesn't matter what people say about how we're winning or look how many games they won by one score wins. Like, yeah, and if we would have lost those games, y'all would have said we're 3-13 and laughed at us. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, bro.
No, it's a shout out to LB. He says the only path for success this season is for Tua to be available and terrific coaching. Jason Keck said yes in the draft like you should have for the last 7 years. In the season, no, too many holes. The one thing I will say about the draft is, and I'm not just saying this about Chris Grier because I don't hate him. What people are asking of Chris Grier is to do something that I don't think anyone has ever done in the history of the NFL draft, which is nail every single pick. It won't happen. It just won't. At best, you'll get half your picks, which is probably a very good draft. So yeah, Chris Grier is trying to do something which is, in my opinion, virtually impossible. But no, yeah, there is 100% a path. But yeah, like we've said, Tua needs to be available. The AFC East, I was on a podcast through the lens on Monday, which comes out in a few days, and one of the guys is a Buffalo Bills fan, and we're kind of talking about the AFC East, and it's people expect the Patriots to play hard on the Mike Vrabel and Aaron Glenn over in East Rutherford and stuff like that. I still think we'll beat. I think if Tua is healthy, we'll sweep both those teams, in my opinion. So then it once again comes down to beating Buffalo. But yeah, you go at the very worst 4-6 in your division games, and you beat a few of these teams.
4-6.
You sweep the Jets twice. You sweep the New England twice, but you lose to Buffalo. So yeah, 4-6. No, sorry. When I say 4, you win 4 of your 6 games. I apologize.
All right, champ. I didn't know if the math system, the system in England was the same as the mathematical system in America. I wasn't sure.
It's one of those things where the way UK people talk about sports and results and stuff like that was me in my UK head. So I apologize for anyone for confusion. Thanks for picking up on that. But no, it's actually, before I go there, speaking about maths and numbers, all that kind of stuff, if you are listening over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from, 5-star rating. 5, it's after 4, before 6. 5, hey, if you can leave a 6-star rating, amazing. But a 5-star rating on any podcast platform that you're listening to will be greatly appreciated. It helps us in algorithms. It helps us continue to grow. And yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, you win 4 of your 6 division games. Just try and get to 9 wins. Try and get to 9 wins and hope the AFC is awful. And then you hope you get luck on your side. That's once you get to the playoffs, anything can happen. And if you're healthy, I'll still back the Dolphins.
I don't even think it's that grim though, bro. Listen, when Tua's playing, we straight. That's it. When Tua plays, we're an above average team. Simply put. Now, granted, this season we're gonna have to score 30 every single game, and I think we're gonna welcome that. Like, hey, first team to 27 is gonna win this game. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ask me now, not knowing if Tyreek is going to be a Dolphin or not, which I don't believe he's going to be a Dolphin, you know what? Shout out to Big O. Shout out to Big O. So I like Big O. I don't like his show. I like Big O. He's South Floridian. I see a lot of myself being born and raised in Miami in Big O and but his show, some of his content is like, bro, you kind of off with this one, and he kind of took a shot at all the Dolphin fans who have podcasts, kind of like us, Kadeem. He took a shot. He didn't necessarily call us out and take a shot at us, but he kind of took a shot at all the fans that have podcasts. I felt that was a bit unnecessary. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not quote unquote journalists. My dog Kadeem is actual journalist. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So he said we're not really journalists, and when things come out on the internet and people say they have sources, they're not right. I'm pretty sure we have some things right on this podcast, Kadeem, but we'll some past that. So he absolutely said Tyreek Hill is not going to get traded before the beginning of the season, and Jalen Ramsey isn't going to get traded before the beginning of the season. And not to believe the rumors of the trade rumors. And then a day later, Chris Grier came out and said, yeah, we're going to move Jalen Ramsey. So the reason I brought that up is because, yeah, you could be a fan. And yeah, when you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, just say you're wrong. It's cool. You don't have to make up all this fluff story and pivot and divert to really cover up being loud and wrong. You know what I'm saying? But again, South Floridian, I rock with dog. That being said, back to when Chris Grier said he defers too much. Remember, Kadeem, how many times I sat on this podcast and I said, don't pay X. Don't pay X more money. Don't give, you just paid him. Why are you giving him more money? You let X strong arm you. It's a bad precedent. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying Chris Grier was one of those people in the front office that said, nah, bro, I'm not doing this. And then Ross said, yeah, give it to him. Or Reggie McKenzie said, yeah, give it to him. Or McDaniel say, oh, let's give Reek more money. You know what I'm saying? But this is what happens. You pay X more money. You just paid him 1 year prior. You pay Tyreek. Now you give him more money. Redoing his contract. Same thing with Ramsey. You pay Ramsey 1 season later. I'm out of here. Get me out of here. So now you got all these cap issues now. And if you would just put your feet 10 toes down and said, nah, we're not doing that here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have liked some structure. Like, nah, bro, we're here to win championships, not to pay out Brinks trucks. You know what I'm saying? For y'all boys to live up the life in South Florida. And now look at it. You gave them their money and they're leaving. It's like they just strong arm you, no mask on. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Chris Grier. I don't know if that's what he was talking about, but I know that's what I was talking about. Like, yo, you can't pay these boys more money just because they say, oh, I want more money. Like, nah, bro. What's up with all these drops, Tyreek? Some of them drops are the reason we lost these games. In the Philly game, in the Kansas City game, we went to Germany. Me and Kadeem up there in Germany, like trying to make flights and stuff and fly across the world and all this other good stuff. And Tyreek is getting strong arm and stripped and strip six and all this other good stuff. But you want more money. So come on now, bro. Like you have to stand firm and stand for something or fall for anything. And if you keep paying players just because they want to get paid after they have a contract, it doesn't work like that. Y'all know I'm not a Wade fan. Miami Heat fan for life. I got to go catch this play-in game in a little bit. But at the same time, Dwayne Wade tried to hold the Miami Heat hostage. Oh, I want the Kobe contract on my way out. Nah, bro, you're not going to hold the team hostage. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to set us back. And now, Calais Campbell left. This has nothing to do with contracts, but Teron Armstead not playing. Tyreek got his money. Now he wants out. Ramsey getting traded. He got his money. What's the cap look like? Cap's going to look like $5 to $7 million after the draft. And that money's going to be used to pay the draft players. You know what I'm saying? So your cap is almost non-existent. It might get to a point, Kadeem, where you actually have to restructure. You're gonna restructure a couple more people before you even get to Tua. But if you get to Tua and restructure Tua, I don't know how long we're gonna be doing this thing. The only thing I like about this, Kadeem, is that it's a prove-it season. Hey, Tua, Jalen Hurts, you took Jalen Hurts' spot, won the championship. You feel me? He got 2 Super Bowl appearances on you, bro, and a ring to go with it. You feel me? Like all the Herbert, Tua talk, Lawrence ain't nobody. But you know what I'm saying? Like Jalen Hurts, you know what I'm saying? Comparing Tua to all these players. Joe Burrow got a Super Bowl appearance. You feel me? Almost could have won MVP if his defense would have did something. Hey, Tua. Now, the silver lining in all of this, you get to do more with less. Right now. You get to play for your $52 million and say, I deserve it, I earn it, and I ain't going nowhere, and I did it. You know what I'm saying? More with less. So that's the only silver lining in all of this, and I'm here for it. And I'm not optimistic about it, but Tua's my dude, and I get to see what he's made out of now.
Did you read anything in Tua not being named one of the leaders? Because there's an article on a fan-sided website or filmfanatic.com, and the headline read, Dolphins just revealed their true feelings about Tua Tagovailoa, and yeah, it was because Chris Grier didn't name Tua as one of the leaders.
I mean, he's in the building. He couldn't find another name off his tongue after Zach Sealer. I gotta be real with you. It was a cringe moment. Like I was watching it happen and listening, and I'm like, dang, bro, you can't find another name like real quick. And he was just stumbling over, like he wasn't even saying names. He said, yeah, just to list a few. And he didn't even list none. He didn't list any. So I'm like, dang, you can't get to another person. You know what I'm saying? And it was bad, bro. It was pretty cringe, if I'm being honest. And I don't even like to use this is cringe, like, you know, because it's so common now. But it was pretty cringe, Kadeem. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's one of those moments where the second he finished and didn't say Tua, you know, social media was like, there we have it. This is exactly what I mean. And listen, I am a journalist. I've been in so many press conferences where a a coach or a manager has said something, walked out, and then like the PR person come back in and go, okay, guys, just to let you know, he didn't mean this, or he meant to say this, or can you add that? Obviously, we haven't heard anything from any of the journalists in the room. I can imagine the next time Chris Grier is able to speak to the media and someone brings it up, he can be like, no, it was my fault. He's a leader. And it's also funny because players are like, yeah, Tua is a leader. Like, no, but he just leads in a different way. But he has also been more vocal, all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, again, I didn't read anything into it because there's probably a few names as well who, again, we lost a lot of veterans in the offseason. No one's going to dispute that. But the guys are like, I'm pretty sure Johnny Smith is a leader. Like, he wasn't mentioned. I'm pretty sure, Aaron Brewer leads in his own special way. It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, you're not saying Tua. Even if he said Tua and he said Tua last, yeah. And I'll write this point up on this. Chris Grier calls an impromptu press conference, which he was never going to win. But my word, did he find a way to lose and lose in spectacular fashion. It's absolutely amazing.
Juwan Buchanan, shout out to you for this comment. He said, the Miami Dolphins are competing with the Cleveland Browns as most dysfunctional franchise in the NFL. I said this like 3 years ago, Kadeem. And Sherrod Steve got down, like, I was about to say some no Diddy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like he jumped at me for this. You feel me? Like Sherrod Steve's like, no, we're a historic franchise. We're the Miami Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? And I feel where he was coming from because there is a lot of history. There's a lot of good stuff that comes with the Miami Dolphins. Nothing in the past 40 years, but there's a lot of good history there. But, bro, the Dolphins are dysfunctional, bro. Not only are we dysfunctional, we as fans are delusional. Bro, I tried to tell LB that the Dolphins are looked at outside in the other, like in the NFL, like we're looked at as like a bottom 10 team perennially. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all boys not gonna do nothing. Y'all the Dolphins. You feel me? Like when the Browns barely did it with Baker Mayfield and everybody was shocked. That's all we just did just now with Tua. You know what I'm saying? When we put up 70 on the Broncos, went to the playoffs, made a little playoff run, that's all we just did. Now we're back at the bottom again. Or it feels like we're trending towards the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's over with. I'm not, because there's some things we could do in this draft, which it happens to be the best draft for the Miami Dolphins. The way things line up. We need D-line, O-line. This is a D-line, O-line type of draft. You're going to find third rounders in the fifth round of this draft. I don't know if I trust the Dolphins to do it, but it's there for the taking. I would be delighted if the Dolphins went heavy O-line, picked up a receiver, and I don't know this is not popular, and said, hey, y'all just going to have to put up 30 to beat us. And this Dolphins team is going to look like what Joe Burrow did last year with no defense, and take the over every Dolphins game, because that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah. Miss Finns asks, are you sure Tua is a leader? Joe Levesque, welcome. He says, we are cooked. This is going to be a long year. Wilson gets 6 to 8 starts, and we roll with Wilson and let Tua walk at the end of the year. Then Wilson goes for the following year as a bridge. Greer still here. And JML says Tua is quiet. Fact. That was Florida's big problem. You can't change it. What I will say, and again, I've been about, if you've played sports, team sports that is, or just if you've been around people in general, like I said, people lead in many different ways, and Tua isn't a rah-rah in your face, that kind of leader. What I will say is, even if he's not a leader or the leader you want him to be, he's shown, not just Adam McDaniel, but Brian Flores as well, the Dolphins can't win consistently without him. And so might not be a leader, but boy, this team is trash without him. We're talking, you're picking in the top 5 without him. Like, so again, he's not everyone's cup of tea. You spoke about Dolphins fans being delusional. Friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, made it clear how he felt about Dolphins fandom. What I will,
Like in his first season as a Dolphin, he said it.
But what I find hilarious about not just Dolphins fans, it's all fans in general, but it's Dolphins fans as well. Hating on Chris Grier right now. Team was cooked. 6 to 8 wins. We're finished. Dolphins mess around and draft 2 players that fans want. And we were here until week 1. We're back. This is our year. Dolphins mess around. Say they go Will Johnson first round, amazing offensive lineman second round. Like, yo, we're back. We're cooking. Dolphins go Will Johnson in round 1. And at the end of the night, Dolphin fans, we won the draft. This is it. It's going to be fun. It is going to be a lot of fun.
I'll say this before we get into overtime. I do believe Tua is a leader. And if you watch the Hard Knocks, in-season Hard Knocks, like I'm not sure how you didn't gather that from the Hard Knocks. Like I see Tua saying what he has to say, doing what he has to do. Even I can't remember what game it was. Maybe it was the Dallas game where we needed the first down, and McDaniel was just going through his McDaniel brain, like coming up with all these plays, and Tua was like, "Yo, we just need the first. Like, I don't care. We just need the first." You know what I'm saying? And then they got into the huddle, and I think if I remember correctly, he was talking to Tyreek, but he was looking straight, and Tyreek was to his right. He's like, I don't even want to look at Tyreek when I'm giving you this message. Like, I'm not going to look at you because I don't want the other sideline to even notice that I'm looking at Tyreek. So he was looking straight, and he was conveying a message. And you can, as a viewer, feel the command that he had on the team, on the huddle, in the conversation with Mike McDaniel. So I have no doubt that Tua is a leader. He might not be the type of leader, like you said, Kadeem, that people want. You know what I'm saying? But nah, bro, you could lead in many ways. I do believe Tua is a leader. But a part of being a leader is knowing that you have to be available for your team because they need you. And that's where he has failed time and time again, unfortunately. And as one of the biggest Tua fans, I don't know if that's ever going to change, if he's ever going to say, all right, bro, I'm not going to take this hit. I don't know if he's ever going to do that. And that's what my concern comes in at. But we're going to get into overtime. Y'all come on over to overtime. Before we get into overtime, if y'all can hit that like button, if y'all can subscribe, and then head over to wherever you listen to your podcast, give us a positive review and a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate y'all here at Go Time Dolphins. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Yeah, I can imagine mainstream media saying Chris Grier needs to go. I feel like that's just a common consensus opinion across the board. And yeah, it's again, like I said, there's times when Tua tried to rally the team and everyone ignored him. There's times when it has worked. It's one of those things where as you've kind of seen over the last 2-3 years, especially under McDaniel, Tua's inability to be available has hurt the team the most. And I think I don't think guys are just saying this because he's the starting quarterback, because players don't really care that much. You can tell every single Dolphins player has been there, has made it crystal clear, without Tua, this team is nothing. Like, it's just one of those things. There's also a clip that I'm trying to find.
To be fair, Kadeem, while you find that clip, the reason why Tyreek is leaving is because Tua isn't available. It's not that Tua is a bad quarterback. He's like, yo, my quarterback isn't available. And he's like, yeah, I know if the QB1 goes down, we're not going to win many games. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like the way Tyreek did it, but how can you not feel him when he says that? You know what I'm saying? Same thing. I mean, Jalen Ramsey didn't say it, but it kind of feels like the exodus is because no one is sure what the availability of QB1 is going to be. It's just you didn't see no one head for the doors or head for the exit when Tua played 17 games. No one headed for the exit. No one was like, get me out of here. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Did you find what you were looking for?
No, but I'll get it for next time. And Jason Keck says Tua's availability is not the only problem. Stop.
Hold on. Jason Keck, you said stop, and it's not the only problem. Give us a couple other problems. Like give us a couple other problems.
It's one of those things where you can kind of fix your team and then talk. I think I'll kind of go first on this one. It's what I said earlier though. If Tua's availability is not the only problem, but the team can't win without Tua or win consistently. Like I said, I think the Dolphins have won since Tua took the field against the Paper Planes. The Dolphins have won 3 games when Tua's not been healthy. The game against the Paper Planes, which
it was like 9-6. It was like all field goals. Yeah.
Yep. And then Snoop won, was it 2 games?
I don't know.
I believe.
Can't tell you.
But again, we're talking,
and they don't even look like wins. If I'm being real with you, they don't even look like wins.
He beat the Patriots and the Browns. Yeah, because he went 1-3 when Tua was out, and then when it happened again, he beat the Browns, and that's it. So Jason Keck says, offensive line. Everybody knows that defense showing up half the time. You can name just about every player on this team. You take yourself, Tyreek dropping balls, turnover, touchdowns. Yeah, okay. Then yeah, you are right. The Dolphins do have other problems, but Tua's availability is the main problem.
That's that, bro. That is the catalyst to all of the problems. Like in reality, because the O-line when Tua plays is statistically a top 15 O-line when Tua plays. When Tua doesn't play, Tua cannot mask the deficiencies on the O-line, and then we're ranked 28th because Tua's not getting the ball out quicker because he's not even available. You know what I'm saying? So in a nutshell, I believe Tua masks all the problems on the Miami Dolphins when he plays. And the biggest decision is now what? Like, what do you do? Because it's not like you move forward, you build around that. You know what I'm saying? So this is the only way McDaniel and Greer could keep their jobs. And Tua. Doing more with less. Because now, if you go to the playoffs now, when it's unexpected, it's like there's something here. There's something that we can build on here. And clearly we're winning. And we've only had one losing season since McDaniel's been here. You know what I'm saying? People think we like we've been trashed the whole time. Like it was one season where we didn't really, I don't want to say meet expectations, but we wet the bed last year. And Tua missed 6.5 games last year. You know what I'm saying? So you get a whole season of Tua, let's reconvene then. You get a whole season of Tua this year, see what it looks like, and that's going to tell you what's going to happen with Greer and McDaniel, 100%. Because I do not believe Greer and McDaniel is on the fast track out the door next year. I don't believe that. And we'll find out. And matter of fact, we might have to clip this and then bring it back when they're not out the door next year.
I said to 5. I've said to quite a few people. I'll start here. I was saying for months, Lee Meichenberg was coming back. No one wants to hear it. Lee Meichenberg is back. And yeah, we've said it. Do you not be surprised if Greer and McDaniel are here next season? Like, it's going to be so interesting. J-Mo says no O-line depth. That's something the Dolphins should be able to fix this offseason, if they get things right. Charlie, before we go, I have one more thing to say. Do you have anything else?
No, man. 2 Shades 24. Early look at 2 Shades 24 on Patron today. I think we'll probably put it out tomorrow, but we're about to record it today. And in the 2 Shades 24 episode, we're going live on Friday.
So, J-Mo had a comment earlier, which I'm glad you noticed, JML. I don't think Charlie noticed, or I don't think anyone else has noticed yet. So JML says, are those new glasses, Cads? They are sharp, could be 6 months old. I'm clueless. No, these are new glasses, which I wore on Monday, and Charlie didn't say anything. Still wearing them now. Brand new glasses. I'm just saying, brand new glasses.
Kadeem, are you like? Are you hold on? Are you like my girlfriend? I got to comment on your hair every time you get a shave. You know what I'm saying? Like I got to comment on it. Like, bro, I seen your glasses and I put on my glasses. You don't remember when I put on these glasses? I was like, oh, Kadeem got the glasses. Let me throw the glasses on. And then I was like, oh, I got too much glare in mine. I can't do it. You don't remember when I said that, Kadeem?
Did you mention my glasses specifically, or did you say you wanted
I
black
knew
glasses?
I knew it was a new look. I didn't know necessarily that like there was like the new prescription, you know what I'm saying? Things. You feel me? Like, yo, it is what I seen you have some new. If I was from Philly, I'd say some new Johns.
So before we go, here's one comment which I find quite interesting from Liz. She says, leaders do not teach bad habits like smoking, drugs, scandals, not watching their weight. Tua doesn't earn the name leader. He's a guy that he's got to prove me he can lead. Teaching bad habits. I don't think Tua smokes, does drugs, or been part of any scandals. And Tua not watching their weight. Tua purposefully put on weight to avoid getting injured.
I think what I gather from that is it wouldn't happen if there was a leader in the building. I think that's what I got from it. So Tua can't be a leader because it's happening. Maybe that's what I got from it. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see. And yeah, Ross may not have another rebuild in him. I don't think he does, which is part of the reason why I think no one's going anywhere. But guys, thank you, and girls, thank you so much for joining us on both YouTube and Twitter. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 5,000. I want 5,000 by the time we get to the draft, almost this time next week. So, everyone, until the next time, we shall see you soon. Peace.
Oopsie.